one from the pirate in the galley, questioning politics. My goodness. My goodness. I think laying the map of the political hypocrisy designed by any two-party system, run by corporations in some form of oligarchic, manipulated social experiment that we have been positioned against one another as if it's a game of football or schoolyard childish bullying going on in Parliament and in what would appear to be political debate, but we're spouting rhetoric falling from the mouths of mainstream media, which are fed by the rulers of those conglomerations, being hedge funds predominantly, that have interests one way or another. And if we're going to start to entertain the concept of reducing inflation to make it easier on people themselves, or whether we're going to reduce interest rates to save the home buyers, when will these circumstances teach the hard lesson that the experiment is yourselves? You cannot blame inflation on a government that's been in for less than 2 years. You cannot blame inflation on a nation within a global economy. You can blame inflation on the devaluation of the dollar through the saturation of fiscal policy, and you can take a look at how weak the economies globally have been since the end of the 90s, where interest rates have had to be so low that in Europe they were in negative interest rates. They pay you to borrow money. They pay you to put money into the economy. Right? Negative interest rates. Okay? No. Here, and the rest of the Western world, and to be honest, the rest of the world, because you borrow from anywhere in this global economy, you find yourself in a situation that money is worthless and the debt is the slavery. And the interest rates, okay, to curb inflation, to stop prices inflating, not to slow inflation down, but to get to the point where you can actually create deflation, is where interest rates have to be at least 4, 5, 6% higher than the rate of inflation. If the rate of inflation was even calculated honestly. And they got us all fighting over what? You think that, like, the other political party is going to make a difference when it comes to uh, economics, or, to a degree, governance? We have lost our long-term thinking strategies, where we've paid attention for long enough to witness what actually happens as opposed to what they say occurs within these, 15-second mind frames. Unfortunately, those mind frames, they don't satisfy your repayments. And ignorance of the law doesn't create an opportunity of defense within it. Okay, so we are in a predicament that is bleedingly obvious, and I'm pretty sure it's got so much to do with the amount of fluoride that they're putting into the water systems, just keeping everybody on a level. If we're not medicated enough already, look, I'm not here to help everyone. I'm the pirate of permaculture. I'm the fluid druid. I'm Dr. Shocker. I'm the emergency podcast for 20 something years live to air globally. And who picks this up, to me, it doesn't matter, because my conscience is clear that I've always chosen to offer information vital for understanding as a perspective of the real world. And if you haven't recognized the amount of lies that you've been told and the circumstances surrounding the reliance on everybody to have no real knowledge of certain topics that could include, but are not limited to, religion, finance, and government politics. So don't talk about it. Yeah, you might have an opinion, but there's no discussing it. And we're all separated in that. And therefore, they get to rule unanimously, no matter what side gets in. And I could take you back to 2004 when I started my first pirate radio, community radio, exposing the world and sharing information that no sources of mainstream media ever wanted you to hear. One of the godfathers of predictive text in the world of pre-crime, political, social, corporate, industrial, environmental disasters. Nobody wanted you to hear. And was arrested numerous times for it live on air and hounded for many reasons at various protests that may or may not have organized under certain circumstances. But we're dealing with, I don't know, 30 years of being on the front line. They're longer. What am I? 33 years. 18 at Jabiluka. 33 years. Wow. Holy shit. Illuminati, you better watch out. The pirate's coming for you. He knows all your tricks, and he knows he watches you. You watch him. Too many goddamn ideas. This is not a rant. This is a wake-up call. The circumstances of convergence continue throughout our world. If they're going to reduce interest rates in any nation, anywhere, you're going to create immediate and entirely unrealistic blowout in all markets, and people will go and buy property and have some thought that the interest rates will come down, which is absolutely foolish, because, like, why would you buy property at the peak market, or why would you buy shares at the peak market, or why? Because you want to try and keep that peak market going. But honestly, like, haven't you witnessed everybody exiting those markets? Have you witnessed the amount of investors selling their sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and 10th properties? There's an offloading going on. Share markets, there is a lot of corporations divesting in themselves. There are lots of closing down sales wherever you live, wherever things are. We have not even entered the pitfall. People would still like to think that there's still time. And I like the enthusiasm, but when enthusiasm becomes a heightened form of denial and then defiance against, ignoring ignorance, because I'm being kind, because delivery of these messages is never easy. But question how many people can just sit here for, 11 and a half minutes and explain the circumstances, the fluidity of it, the interactions within it, and the care to even spit it out in the first place, which is where 12 years of radio went, and all things awarded in community radio circumstances. Community of music, festivals, emceeing, main stages, waking up thousands and thousands of people live for decades. And now no one can find me because I choose to be hard to find. Okay, it's hide and seek. Nah. So I've given everyone a pretty proper chance, and I'm just going to see everyone figure out how it's going to play out. There are opportunities for us all. While everyone's focusing on trying to evolve their lives, because everyone's got these bills to pay, because everyone's got these unrealistic dreams to live to everyone's got this trap that's boxed them in. Where do we go from there? People used to hate long pauses on radio. They never got a chance to see me pick my nose. So I think that, evolution is. You get to be more authentic. And to be honest, I've been quite impressed. Seems like YouTube has decided that the audience is wanting long form, unedited, unedited, unscripted content where perspective and knowledge is just partaken through the process. And do your own research. Do your own research. Make sure that's happening. But don't have Google as your search engine. Okay? DuckDuckGo, maybe. You have some that plant trees. There's good ones out there. It's hard. It's tricky. We have a journey ahead in this false life, manufactured existence. relies on a status quo of being maintained, which unfortunately nobody really can afford anymore. And so to, again, prevent the problem like 9/11 and 2020 with cerveza sickness, what's going to happen in 2024-25 to allow for a shift, whether it be a war economy or whether it be a global depression that will change people's lives. And remember, those that are on the penthouse right now have the furthest to fall. So grounding oneself in earth and self-reliance and sustainable systems, and perhaps more than our convenience depends on it. So stay in tune, because here, Pirate Permaculture, here, Fluid Druid, we're here. It's a spiritual journey. The most spiritual thing to do is look after yourself naturally. And the Pirate of Permaculture will teach you exactly that. So, buckle up, Dorothy, because we have uh, we have so many things preventing elections, creating hysterica, next pandemics. As far as I'm concerned, your best opportunity right now is to focus on growing food in your backyard, and renegade style or backyards. Oh my gosh, they are, well, look, they are land that was never meant to fall away, right? So that's hard, compact land. So that's not going to grow any food at all. So you can stay in tune, and we'll teach you how to get a start and make it affordable and realistic, because uh, 33 years in this game of teaching people how to live like this, I guess now's the year for the reluctant Messiah to be witnessed. So until next time, 1845. That's a cut.